What the F Sports. I am here with the Lazy Boy and some friends. Welcome back, DeAndre Presley, former NFL veteran from the Miami Dolphins and Chargers. I don't say that third team because nobody cares that he played for the Panthers. That's for Lauricia, when the Panthers had on. Uh, Hopefully, the Panthers did not make our hot mess segment this week. And then we have Adam Sines on here because, of course, we got some things happening in Georgia this weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not Herschel Walker. That part's over. The New Year's Six Bowls. And we're going to get into that in some coverage talking about the first matchup, which is TCU versus Michigan. Okay, now I don't know who's watched a lot of TCU. A lot of times we get to these bowl games and people want to make their comments, but they've never watched the other team. I've been watching them sums of bleeps all year, and I don't care how many times they come back. Teams like that are dangerous. What do y'all say?
No, they're not dangerous. They have no business being in the playoffs. No business being in the playoffs.
Not one of those.
The committee messed up with that one. They messed up with that one.
They won't mess up if they beat Michigan. It won't be a mess up. What do you say, Lazy Boy?
Well, I mean, hey, he I don't know, man. TCU, they've been proving they came back like a few games, playing tough teams. I mean, other than that laugher in the championship game, yeah, I think they're one of the best four teams. I think so.
You said the laugher. You talking about the laugher?
In the championship game, yeah.
Big 12 championship.
They lost that.
Oh, but that wasn't a laugher though.
I just call it laugher because.
Okay, I got you. I was just saying, it's not bad. Well, you know how the SEC does when they play a bowl game and they lose. They weren't into it because it wasn't a national.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Here we go.
I'm not talking about Georgia or Alabama, but this is true. When these other SEC teams that ride the coattails of the top three that are always a three-man led conference, they always beat. When they lose, we weren't into it. But then when they win, it's SEC dominance. You can't have it both ways. Okay.
No, man. No.
The SEC for the longest time has been always it's Alabama, it's Georgia. Auburn shows up once every 4 years. LSU shows up once every 4 years. Ain't nobody in any conference scared of South Carolina. Ain't nobody in any conference scared of Vanderbilt, scared of Kentucky. Ole Miss and Mississippi just switch the names. They get put in the top 15 every year. They proceed to lose 6 games. So it's always 3 teams, just like every other conference.
South Carolina just took that L anyway to Notre Dame. So
again, like, bro, the best teams in the SEC, no other conference can compete with them. I am on board with that. But them other 8 teams that be trying to claim dominance need to sit the hell down somewhere. I'm just saying.
You're right. You're right.
I get your point. I get your point. But my thing is, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy because two teams can carry a whole conference.
Yeah, and that's nothing new. Hey, look, I know I'm a UM fan, but when UM was dominant, UM made an entire conference
relevant. Yes.
Relevant just by themselves. The entire Big East.
Yes, I agree. I agree. If you put Auburn in the Pac-12, they'll lose 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people.
Know what I'm saying?
But Adam, what you're saying, a lot of people won't admit that. It's just something that's true. Now, when Auburn's at its peak, then we're talking a different situation there.
Yeah, of course.
Just like when me and you were younger, Florida kept that conference. Alabama fans, I like that Nick Saban reminded Alabama fans, before I got here, y'all were happy to win 8 games, okay? Because y'all took about a 20-year break.
What I want you to realize is that the reason the SEC is so dominant And when I say dominant, I mean, so throughout the years, they were dominant. They set the precedents for conference championships. You know that, right? You know that when Alabama and Florida played, if Florida would have lost, it would have been a slap in the face. But after that, everybody took suit. So the SEC set the standard for conference championship.
Who gave you that Kool-Aid?
Bro, look it up. Look it up. Look it up.
Man,
Look it up.
What do you mean they set the standard for conference championship?
Before then, nobody was playing conference championship games.
Oh, that's what you mean. Oh,
yes.
Because for a long time, there was only one half of that conference that the Alabama side that was dominant. Florida was the only team doing it.
In the East. You're right.
DeAndre, what college did you go to? I forgot.
Who?
I went to Appalachian State.
You went to where?
Oh, you a Hornet. You a Hornet?
No,
Hey.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. My people live in Montgomery, man. There's nothing wrong with that. My people live in Montgomery, man.
All right, you fuck around and get stung now, Adam.
Oh my God! No, dude. My mama graduated from Alabama State. I rock with Alabama. I live in Huntsville.
Appalachian State.
He's an Appalachian.
Appalachian State.
Oh, Appalachian State.
Yeah.
Appalachian State.
Appalachian State.
Well, congrats on the $20 million y'all won last year and beat the Division I team for real.
Yeah, who was it?
Who did y'all play? Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan was the game that put Apple on the map.
Bro. I called that game many years ago, bro. I was like, yo, I got a feeling they're gonna beat them boys, man.
Yeah. That was the game that put Apple on the map, and then from there, ever since we became D1 single A.
Yeah.
I mean, every bowl game that we've been in so far, we've won. So I mean, although it's like that's a small bowl, but for us, it's like
it's big.
It's a big. Game. Yeah.
Boone, North Carolina. All right, then. Okay. I've been there before. All right, then. Okay. I went there to ski. I was skiing in the slopes. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was doing. For real.
This ain't a show about your geological travel.
I'm just saying, man. I was up there skiing. Man.
You would guess on the you don't get that much time.
I'm just saying, dude.
Hey, look, lazy boy. Adam, this is the first time he's on the show, and he already got more time on the show than Bo Hartwell.
Look.
You leave Hartwell alone, man. You leave Hartwell alone, man. For real.
Last show, you get Bo on there at least one time for the last show.
All right, Laricia, let's get your comments. If TCU is going to beat Michigan, how's that going to happen? Oh, she froze at the right time. That's what I'm talking about.
I would like to see Michigan win. Let me be honest with you. I would like to see Michigan win because as far as TCU goes, you got to look at whether or not if they actually deserve that fourth spot because a lot of people Alabama should get that fourth. So as far as that goes, my final two, I like to see Michigan and Georgia play. And I want to see Georgia win. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
That's my homie. That's my homie right there.
Yeah.
I gotta be real. I would roll with that one.
That's just me personally.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have liked to see Georgia versus OSU, but they put that as a semifinal, so that's not going to happen. This is the reason why I'm glad they put TCU in. Too many times do they wait to teams that are not in the Power 5 or past their prime, and then they put them in to get whooped. Many moons ago, Boise State should have been in the championship, but they waited. Yeah. Everybody graduated, and they put Boise State in like a big bowl, and then they lost. They did the same thing to UCF. The year UCF should have been in the playoff, they didn't get in the playoff. Then they want to give them a big bowl after they're not that dominant. And they always put those teams in too late, and they get their butts right. And they go, see what happens?
I agree.
3 years late, what'd you expect?
But you got to realize something too, though, Stevens, though, for real. Like at the end of the day, it's all about money. Who's going to travel?
Yeah.
That is a big thing.
Yeah, who's going to travel?
Huge thing.
That's what it's about. Seriously.
It's about the money. Who's going to bring in? Who's going to sell tickets?
Yeah, when Georgia played Notre Dame a year ago, it was more red in that stadium than green and gold.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I'm saying? So it's all about money. You know what I'm saying? They want that bread. It's all about money, man.
they all want that bread. It is about money. That's why they tell you don't give them a reason not to pull you out. Hey, Alabama, if you want to be in playoffs, don't lose 2 games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you gotta.
Because if Alabama had one loss, you telling me they wouldn't be in the conference?
No, they would.
No, they be.
They would. Of course.
All day, all day.
But you're talking about Boise State and Central Florida going to a big bowl game.
Uh-huh.
They're not going to travel.
No, I
They're
know
not.
that.
Alabama travels, Michigan travels, Georgia travels.
No, I get that. I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is they eventually put those teams in, but they always wait. It's another motivation. They're not going to put those teams in when they're able to beat the other teams. They always put them in too late or
Yeah,
too
I get that.
on the
I
road,
get that.
and that's how they prove their point of you don't belong with a Power Five.
Of course, yeah, okay. I get that.
State beat Oklahoma and then went on to go to the SEC and beat Georgia in a regular season game. That's when they should have been in a big bowl.
But,
What did they
but,
do?
but why you had to say that though? I mean, why you had to use that example? Out of all the examples you could have used that one. I feel some shade. I feel a little bit of shade. I feel a little bit of shade. I do. I feel a little bit of shade, man.
No shade. So, but then they go put him in a big bowl. But guess who they put him against? TCU. That's how they ended that. So we'll get to our picks in a second. We just talked about the games. So let's talk about the other semifinal matchup that we got on the screen now. We had some highlights with Ohio State and some highlights with Georgia. That's the big one. That's the prime time. That's the one at night. That's the one everybody's come out for. Hey, listen, there are some people who think this is a slam dunk runaway. I tell people like that can be dangerous if you have that line of thinking. But hey, you can have it. It's not like Ohio State is Hawaii here. Like, come on.
Your shade is so real tonight. Jesus Christ.
Look, man.
You tell me.
Michigan lit it up. Michigan lit it up on them boys.
Thank you.
What you think Georgia gonna do to them boys?
Adam, you tell me this. We've seen Michigan destroy people and they look like poo-poo in the next game. Like that's
yes.
You tell me this, Adam. Besides winning the national championship, when has a half ended with Georgia playing in a big game where you said this game is over?
Well, I mean, I really can't speak on that right now because we just won that championship last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? It's a whole process. It's a whole process. You dig? It's a whole process. So yeah, we came up short against Alabama numerous times. One time I wanted to cry with 2 or 3 that the pass Devontae Smith.
Hey, wasn't the same year the Falcons lost the 28-3 Super Bowl lead?
You know what, man? You so disrespectful right now. You are so disrespectful right now. You are super disrespectful right now, dude. Anybody in Georgia does not want to hear that.
Hey, Adam over here like, is this how you treat your friends? I don't
For
want to
real, like what's popping, man?
Hey, Keoni, he disrespectful when it comes to that. So.
I see that, man. I see that.
No, I'm saying, but I am saying a real thing. Now that they've won the championship, you get rid of all that. But sports like to push their narratives. There's many reasons to why you lose a game. Like other teams don't make adjustments, but they have to use the narrative of they can't close, and then when you find
but you know what though, I said this even we had Mark Rick as a coach. I said the only thing about me, he doesn't make adjustments. And when he was still Georgia's coach, I always said I want Kirby Smart. Before he got hired, when I got the alert on my phone and said, yeah, Mark Rick resigned, I was like, Jesus Christ, because the only reason that happened was because Steve Spurrier stepped down to South Carolina, and the first person they called was Alabama to interview Kirby Smart. When Georgia got wind of that, they were like, oh, no, we ain't doing none of this. So they called Mark Rick in the office, even though he had a 10-win season that year. A 10-win season. They called him to the office like, you know what, you need to either get fired or resign. He resigned.
Yeah,
and they hired Kirby Smart. And Kirby Smart makes adjustments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then he came to us, and then I'm like, what the hell y'all cheering for down here? He had up there, and he didn't close the deal. The hell you think it's gonna do down here? DeAndre, talk about that. You're the only one here that's played. Jason acts like he's played, but he didn't. Um, like people, uh, especially sports fans, they don't hold the adjustments in high regard. They just lost in the second half because they can't finish. Them adjustments are important, man. What
Yeah,
do
you're
y'all
right.
think about
You're right.
in the locker room? Like, how does that work?
No, no adjustments are really really important. It's huge. I mean, there have been games, man, college and in the pros, where I specifically remember the year at Carolina where we beat the Patriots. I want to say it was either Sunday night or Monday night, which everybody knows what Tom likes to do. But at the same time, like I mean, he's TB12, man. Like he once he finds out what you're weak at, he attacks it, and there's nothing you can do. And one of the biggest things was they were killing us with screens that they kept throwing to Julian Edelman, and the reason that they saw that working was because I want to say a couple of weeks before we played Pittsburgh at home, and Pittsburgh was killing us with screens with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, and
Well,
so
yeah, was Luke Kuechly out? What the hell?
no, no. Matter of fact, Luke was the one that kind of caused Tom Brady to throw the interception for us to actually win the game at the end. At the end, but the whole point of it is it was a defensive adjustment that our defensive coordinator at the time, Sean McDermott, was the one was like, all right, we see this what they're doing, and we just played it. We just played it completely different. But if it wasn't for those adjustments of seeing how okay they're killing us with the screens because of what happened a couple of weeks ago. If they make that adjustment, we'd have lost. So it makes or breaks a game, man. And you have to be able to adjust. You can't go
Yeah,
into the game being like, "Oh, we're gonna run the ball," and then you get into the game and they're killing your run game, and you're like, "No, no, no, we just gonna keep running." That's the dumbest thing. That's the dumbest thing ever. So
yeah,
you have to be able to make adjustments, man. If you don't, you're gonna get whooped.
Larissa,
yeah.
you remember that game?
I remember that game.
I bet
I
you were
do.
screaming
I
and
mean, he's right though, because
if
you
y'all
know what? I remember not throwing. What?
if y'all don't know, Larissa works for me part time, and she can never work on Sundays during football season. It drives me freaking crazy. It's very annoying, and
I give him one class.
you said what?
I'll be honest with y'all. My football. I said football season. I tried
All right, well,
Thursday,
all right,
Monday before 1 o'clock.
all right. When your Boost Mobile internet is acting up, you got that
You're a
Carolina
fool,
Panthers.
bro.
You got
This is
that
You're a
Carolina.
fool, bro.
Not
Bradley's
Boost Mobile. Not
Nah,
Boost
Boost
Mobile, man.
Mobile,
Not Boost
yo.
Mobile.
You got that Carolina Panther internet. That Wi-Fi is invading.
He is
All
a
right.
fool, bro.
Well, here's that time. Let's talk about the picks of the week. So look, I got a way more Bulldog helmets on this screen because I feel like a lot more picks are gonna go the Bulldog way. So let's start with TCU and Michigan, and I'm gonna start with Mauricio. Who you got, TCU or Michigan?
I'm gonna take. I'm going for the underdog. I'm going for the upset. I'm doing TCU. They might get the upset.
Hey, TCU,
Okay.
Mauricio
All right.
gone. All right, I'm next. I'm actually looking for the upset. I don't trust Michigan at all. I know they're better than TCU. The better team doesn't always win.
That's true.
People act like
That's true.
we never watched sports before. The best team doesn't always win. TCU could make some adjustments, and hey, just like any other team, you got to prove it. I don't
Yep.
trust Michigan. Lazy boy, TCU or Michigan?
I got I got Michigan, man. Boys, they got it together, man. They're hitting all cylinders right now.
They're hitting all cylinders. All right.
Yeah. Mhm.
All
Mhm.
right. Give one for the old time sports cliche. They're hitting all cylinders. All right. Yeah, they're a rowdy bunch. They've got intestinal fortitude. What are you going to give a Newt Rodney speech next? DeAndre, who you got?
Man, I'm gonna
Michigan.
go. I'm gonna go with Michigan, man. I feel like this is the first year that they haven't shot themselves in the foot.
Mm. Mm.
Normally, they shoot themselves in the foot by losing a game they shouldn't lose or making stupid decisions. And I feel like Lazy Boy said, this is the year that they've got it all together.
Yeah.
Run game going. They got a good run game.
Yep.
So I'm going with Michigan, and it's like you. They got it together, and they actually have gotten to the point where they can like. I feel like they can taste playing in the national championship.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going. I'm gonna roll with Michigan on this one.
They taste that national championship. They better watch out for that semifinal game. So DeAndre picks Michigan, so that means I'm staying with TCU because ex players are always wrong. Um, Adam, who you got? You got Adam is right. I'm disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm wound up because I'm usually on the show with Jason, and Jason's behaving today. He usually just says sports fan stuff, but it fits me in the overdrive.
That's what we are, right? We're sports fans. That's what we
Yeah, but
are.
I want you to be a little more nuanced. Adam, well, actually, I don't because we need to feed off of each other. Adam, who you got? TCU or Michigan?
I agree. I agree with DeAndre. The run game is crazy. You know, they made it last year, but they lost to some team out of Georgia. But anyway, I think,
It was Georgia
you
Southern.
know, what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, I don't think TCU because TCU hasn't played anybody yet, and like my thing is they have not played anybody. But my thing is I look at it too as like Michigan's quarterback is going to be probably top 10 pick when he comes out.
Okay, and
That's the only reason I'm scared to play him. But I'm taking Michigan and that running back that they got, he can have over 100 yards.
who's Kansas State playing in the bowl game?
Alabama.
so you tell me at the end of that game if TCU played somebody. All right, let's go to we're gonna get rid of these Michigan and TCU helmets because that game has been selected. I'm gonna go back to you, Laricia, and I've got 6 Georgia helmets up here and 3 Ohio State, so it's leaning heavily. Who you got, Georgia or Ohio State?
Who, me?
Georgia.
No, Laricia.
He's like, you don't even gotta ask.
Georgia.
He's ready to give his pick.
I'm asking Laricia. All right, Laricia, you got Georgia. Why do you have
Georgia.
Georgia?
Georgia. And plus, I want Georgia to make some history so they can try to be in that group with the other teams that's back to back. I want them to make some history.
Okay, you going on history and sentimental value. That's
I
right.
did, John.
I'm gonna pick Georgia for 2 reasons. I normally don't do this, but there are 2 teams that I can never root for or hope to win. That's Ohio State and that's Notre Dame. As a UM fan, those are 2 teams. When they play each other, I always root for a tie because
Not a time. Not a time, man.
I just don't. And so for that reason, plus I don't feel like you're talking about TCU ain't played nobody. Ohio State ain't played nobody. Well,
Yes, they have. They got beat. Yes, they have. They got beat at home. They got drugged at home. They did play somebody.
you let
They,
me finish my sentence, you loud mouth.
for real.
If you talk, I'm gonna rewind the tape because the youngin jumped in. I said, TCU ain't played nobody. Ohio State ain't played nobody. They played one team and got their butt whooped, and everybody else stunk. Don't throw at me Penn State. Don't throw at me Michigan State and all of that. That's just like throwing at me South Carolina and Ole Miss. It's the same thing. It's all muddled crap.
Penn State's a tough place to play.
Oh my god! Yeah, if you're a kid. So moving right along. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna pick Georgia. I believe Georgia's gonna dominate the hell out of Ohio State. If they didn't know what hit them with Michigan, they definitely ain't gonna know what hit them when these damn Bulldogs get on them. Jason, who you got?
It's not even gonna be close. Those boys, the defense is tough, man. They dominate on the defense. Um, quarterback probably. I'd say they'll go by 2 touchdowns. They'll be up by two touchdowns.
Why did you just say that last part like foghorn leghorn?
I,
I say now, boy. What was that?
that man's on it tonight, ain't he, bro? He on it tonight,
DeAndre,
bro.
who we got?
Man, I'm going with Georgia, man.
Jeez.
My reason is Kirby Smart's a great coach, man.
Yeah.
Great freaking coach, man. Second reason, they got a great defense. I mean, a dominant behind defense. And then Stetson Bennett, he takes care of the football. Period. He takes care of the football. So that's why I'm going with him. He
You know,
knows what to do. And then they got a great what's the tight end name, man? Y'all
Brock Bowers.
got two tight ends, man. You got two grown
Yeah,
men
they
on
Yep.
run,
tight
they
end.
run 3 tight ends, don't they?
Yeah, they got 3 of them.
Yeah,
You
bro.
got I'm saying you got
all
three
three of
tight
them get their
ends
testosterone.
Yeah,
that are grown men out there.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so I just think Kirby Smart, the defense, and then you got Stetson who takes care of the football, man. I mean, he plays good football, man.
All three of their tight ends are over 30 years old. If y'all didn't know that.
I figured, bro. I figured.
Oh my
They
God, you're such a hater, dude.
No, that's me saying how much of a grown man. You know the difference between Kirby Smart and Dabo Sweeney. Kirby Smart is showing you what a great coach does with great talent, while Dabo Sweeney was showing you what an okay to good coach does with great talent. That's the difference
Bro,
between
don't even get these
Yeah.
folks. Don't
Kirby.
get these folks started down here in Carolina, in South Carolina, on this Clemson
Kirby
thing.
Smart will not have that short flash of 3 years of dominating, and then going back to what Dabo Sweeney is. Forget Clemson fans. They ain't do nothing their entire existence. They win a couple championships and want to act like they're a blue blood. Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
Y'all been
yeah.
around for 80 years, won 2 things, and want to wave your tails. Like, get the hell out of
And
here.
then I've always said this. I've always said this. I'll be forgetting people's names, but if it wasn't for their D coordinator when he was at Clemson,
Brent Burnabus.
yeah, if it wasn't for him, Clemson wouldn't be all that, dude.
I agree. I agree with that.
They would not.
True
He
statement.
I mean, Watson's year was pretty good, though.
no, yeah, but they still had a great
Defense.
Defense was-
They
Yeah,
had
they
a
had a
great
defense.
defense. Like
Yep.
you have a great defense, you don't have to score a lot of points. Like you don't have to feel like, oh shoot, we got to score 30, 40 points just to win. If you got a great defense, man,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I,
Oh, you know what? Because you know what a great defense does? You'll see these games. And look, if Cyrus lets me finish, this is why UM was dominant what there was, and teams like Alabama are. You'll see games where Alabama is playing a team that's nowhere near as good as them, and at halftime, they're up by 7. What happens is when your defense keeps making the other team go 3-and-out, that defense on the other team is getting wore the hell out. And eventually, that's why the game ends and they win by 50 points.
Yeah.
seriously, it's for real. That's the real thing. I agree with you, Keoni. If your defense is always on the field, eventually, man, they just gonna start points are just gonna start
Yep.
going up, man.
It's crazy.
Offense has to help. Trust me, I done been in games, man, as a quarterback where like we can't get nothing going, nothing, and it's 3-and-out, 3-and-out, and then next thing you know, some simple run or some simple pass because defense tired, they've blown an assignment or they've missed a tackle, and now points are just you just got points. So it's like you got to have that balance. So offense got to be able to click with defense.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that.
And then like in college football, it's not as prevalent as it is in the NFL, but like special teams isn't as big, in my opinion, in college football the way it is in college football or yeah.
Shit, you better ask Cyrus about that kick 6 and tell me special teams.
No, I'm saying no, like it's important. But what I'm saying is like in the league, it's like to have complete games, you see offense, defense, and special teams are all clicking. You know what I mean? But like in college football, it's really, you know, it's either an offensive game or a defensive game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But special teams isn't really. It isn't that big like that. Like it's not. It's a big deal, but you don't really see that many big plays happening
Yeah.
In special teams, like in the punting game, you don't see a lot of returns in college punt returns in college football because the kickers don't got a stronger leg. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Adam, like you've been holding all this shit for 10 years, just waiting for me to come on this show so you can say. I'm telling you, this wasn't scripted. It's just popping up. Hey, Dabo Sweeney. Also, I noticed this. No one's going to talk about it. It's a whole lot of, they were getting the top three recruiting classes, right? Ever since he got on that damn TV talking about, "Hey, I wish a damn player would kneel over here." There's a whole lot of top 100 kids that ain't going to Houston, Clemson. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Maybe you should have kind of piped down on that a little bit there, bruh. All
Yeah.
right. I'm just gonna put the helmet on you because I know who you're picking, but I'm gonna let you talk about it. Hey, it would be funny if you said Ohio State.
Well, hey, if I was not a Georgia fan, I would still pick Georgia. I think the run game is gonna be very, very. They're gonna be good in the run game and whatnot. And I also think because Ohio State, they're a good team. I think it's gonna come down to key matchups like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kelly Ringo. That's gonna be a key matchup for real. That's gonna be a real key matchup. So of course I'm gonna take Georgia because I'm in Atlanta right now. You know what I'm saying, for real. So I'm gonna take Georgia, and I'm gonna say by maybe two maybe three touchdowns because I feel that they're gonna win. Because what you got to realize is that Georgia's defense last year was historic, and in the offseason everybody said they'll never do it again. It's only 1 point yard that separates the defense from this year and last year. So I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think Georgia's going to show up and they're going to show out, and we're going to see Michigan in the next championship game for a repeat of last year's semi-championship. We beat Michigan last year, so it's gonna be. I think it's gonna repeat, but I'm going Georgia.
I think it'll come down to, in my opinion, who has ball. That's my opinion. Like because you got two good quarterbacks. They both are really good quarterbacks.
Yes, you're right.
Two really good
You're right.
quarterbacks. And I think it'll come down to one of those. I don't think it'll be a 2-3 touchdown kind of thing. I think I'm gonna say 10 points.
Well, you know what, DeAndre, you're right, and you could be wrong. It has the potential to be a 10-point win, but here's the thing: if Ohio State's turning the ball over, it's gonna get ugly.
Yeah.
But that's any team. That's any team, though. That's any team.
Well, I mean, but some teams can survive that. For instance, Georgia can turn the ball over, and they have that
And
defense.
see, that's my issue. At times, Stetson Bennett has stupid moments. At times, and he's very sporadic at times. When he's on, but he has done some things and make people scratch their head like, do you just fumble the ball? You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be up to him too.
Yeah.
What's the spread? It's 6.4. That's a spread, right?
Yeah.
It's 6.4.
Yeah, 6 points. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I think Georgia's going to win because it's a home game for Georgia. They just played in Atlanta 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I'm gonna say this though, for just with me not being a fan of any of the four teams, if certain teams win, the matchup's gonna have to change. For instance, if TCU upsets Michigan, Ohio State needs to win for that to even be a good national championship game. Because if it's Georgia TCU, you might as well not even turn the TV on.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see Michigan Ohio State. It's like a really weird. It's like I could watch that because then I get to cheer for Ohio State. So we got our picks in here. It looks like Georgia across the board, but it's not one of those things where everybody picked Georgia, so that's a jinx. It's not that kind of party. We all pick Georgia. None of us on here are stupid. Okay. If Ohio State wins, win because something happened.
They're not. They're not gonna win. Don't worry about that.
We got 3 Michigans and 2 TCUs. Is going for the upset on the Michigan game, and no one on here picked Ohio State.
No.
I don't think they'll do it, man.
But these, you know what? I know this is my first time meeting you guys, but you guys are smart. I'm not being biased. At all. You guys are smart. I get it, man. I get it.
Hey, that's why we miss Bo, because Bo be saying the dumbest shit. So
Bo would be like, man, I'm going to Ohio State.
we're about to get into some NFL talk, and we're gonna start that NFL talk with the segment we call Hot Mess. You have seen Hot Mess, you know what time it is. We're talking about NFL teams that's a hot damn mess. So let's get into it. Our first team reveal. Who's going to be our first team reveal? Yes,
Denver.
it is the Arizona Cardinals. This Cliff Kingsbury thing ain't working. The quarterback has stipulations in his contract that he has to study to make a certain amount of money because he can't stop playing Call of Duty. Andre Hopkins is the only good thing on the team. They have Green. I mean, it's just what is they're a hot mess.
Mm. Yeah.
They're a hot mess.
Yeah, it's getting to a point where JJ Watt's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up.
I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up.
Before the house burns down, I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up.
Hey, is all good players gonna go to Arizona to stand Pat Emmett Smith? Is that what?
Not in the Smith.
Is that the thing? They're just gonna go there. Like, what is there anything about the Arizona Cardinals that any of you see that gives you hope that this is gonna be a good team next year?
DeAndre Hopkins. That's about it.
Maybe Larry Fitzgerald will come back.
He said Larry Fitzgerald come back.
Maybe he'll come back.
DeAndre is about to do the same, go the same route against Tony Gonzalez until the end of his career with Matt Ryan. That you look at Larry Fitzgerald's, like people got mad because Larry Fitzgerald was on the top 100 NFL players of all time over a bunch of other receivers. This guy, besides 2 years with like Kurt Warner and 2 years with Carson Palmer, had me, Adam, and Jason throwing him the ball for 8 times in his career, and look at his numbers. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's insane. All right, second team in the reveal. 4, hot mess. Uh-oh, it's a new entry. It's those damn Las Vegas Raiders.
You know what? I don't understand. How the hell can you win a Super Bowl and be garbage the next year?
No, the Raiders.
The Raiders. Oh, the Raiders. Okay. My fault.
Like, wait, what alternate universe are you in?
My fault, man. My fault.
Hey, this just in. The Raiders have changed their official slogan to "Just lose, baby."
Just lose, baby.
Like, what? Derek Carr, everybody loves to blame the quarterback. Derek Carr is not the problem. How does Jack Del Rio have that team clicking on all cylinders? Derek Carr gets hurt. The Patriots go on to win the Super Bowl. And then you run Del Rio out of town for John Gruden. You see what happens with that mess. And then you go and get Josh McDaniels, which is a whole nother thing of why y'all keep trying to think that everybody who stood next to Bill Belichick when he fired is going to be a good coach.
Hey, man, it's the difference between calling plays and leading a team.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a big difference between I'm good because I can call plays versus I got to lead a team of people. Like, some people are just, he's better off as an offensive coordinator, if you ask me.
Yeah.
They saw this story. They saw this story in Denver, so they get what they deserve, and they're like, well, they're going to have Derek Carr and them mutually. Derek Carr is going to stay away to not cause a distraction. You caused a distraction when you benched him. That was the distraction. Because if you think that was and Derek Carr, I learned something, and I think it was on one of the sports shows. I can't remember. Derek Carr, the entire time he's been in the league, hasn't even had a top 20 defense. They've been ranked 30, 31st, and 32nd in every defensive statistical stat since he's been quarterback. Name me great quarterbacks that won a Super Bowl with terrible defenses. I'll wait.
With general defenses?
With terrible defenses.
Oh, terrible defenses?
I'll wait. Yeah. So next hot mess entering for the first time this season is the damn Tennessee Titans.
This is a disappointment for me, man.
Yeah.
This is a disappointment.
What I didn't get is like they didn't even let they brought Dobbs in. They didn't even let old boy. They ain't even like it was. I was like Dobbs. He just like practice squad with the Lions or something like that.
Well, they
Like
saw their backup play 3 or 2.5 games. They know what they had with that. And this is what I talk about when people always badmouth quarterbacks because they expect every quarterback to be Peyton Manning. All those people bad mouthing Tannehill, you see how different the Titans are when he's not playing.
Not even that. There have been games that I've seen where like it just goes to show you like if you can't, you have to be able to run the football in order
Yep.
to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to. And then what you see is if you cannot run the football, you're gonna lose.
they
It
can't.
makes you
They
one
can't.
dimensional.
When Derrick
Yep.
Henry ain't in there, they
When he's
cannot
not,
run.
I mean, when he's not clinching over 100 yards, they are not playing. They're not winning. And it's one of those things like you've seen teams that have had their number have stopped them running,
Yep.
they've lost.
They become one dimensional.
They become one dimensional. And don't get me wrong,
But
Ryan. In my opinion, I think Ryan's a good quarterback. I really do. Seeing that he was a college freaking wide receiver, and then you become a NFL quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. But
Look at the damn
if you
Dolphins.
can't win games if you're just passing and you're one dimensional, man.
And you go to the damn Dolphins and you give him 7 different coordinators in his first 7 years. That's not going to help his development.
that's just the coaching carousel, man. That happened. That
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. But it's terrible when you can do that with a veteran, but not when somebody just converted from one position.
I
Uh,
got a
Yeah.
question for y'all. Let me ask y'all this: do y'all think AJ Brown not being in Tennessee made a difference?
Yep.
yes, because I have a
I
question.
think that
Yeah.
plays a part in this as well.
Mauricia, I have a question. Why do teams like the Titans and the Ravens never want to invest in a number one receiver? They always just we're going to play defense and run the ball, and we'll just give our quarterback some decent receivers. Besides Steve Smith Sr., he was a beast. But other than that, like they never want to invest in a true number one receiver.
I think that the reason that is because you always find that diamond in the rough. Julian Edelman, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of those wide receivers that you know is going to take this dude in the 5th round, and he turns out to be very very productive.
It's only been one coach to do that. Bill Belichick's the only coach that says, "I'm gonna take three short white guys and beat the hell out of them." Okay? He said, "I'm gonna kill you with Amendola, Edelman, and Russ Welker." And everybody said, "You can't do that." And he
That was
said,
three white boys.
Not three white boys.
"Hey, Adam will tell
Man,
you. Look, I don't know if Adam remembers. Adam, remember we used to
But he did it though.
Adam, remember we used to play flag football. I mean football
In
out here,
Korea,
right? And I would always pick like these 35, 32, 28-year-old white guys, and the other team would pick everybody with dreads, right?
yeah,
And we would kill them. The only big person I had was Adam because I'm like, the little white guys gonna do curl routes, we're gonna dink and dunk, and when we get to the end zone, give it to the big man.
Yeah.
Everybody on the other team, every time the quarterback said height, there's a bunch of go routes. Everybody running go routes.
Yeah. Don't y'all feel like a team like Baltimore? In my opinion, I feel like they spent a lot of their money on defense and on a quarterback. Although they haven't paid. Well, have they paid Lamar yet?
I
no.
don't think so. No, not yet.
But
So
previously, it has been they've spent their money on defense, as we
Mhm.
know, and then they've had a quarterback that they've invested in, and then you divvy up the money
What
for certain receivers.
I think personally, like you got to realize something. Like let's take Tampa Bay when they won a Super Bowl. Their offense was garbage. Their offense was garbage. Even though it was Tony Dungy offense and John Gruden got credit, I'm gonna throw that out there
Are you
too.
talking about the year they won in 2001, 2002?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yes. Okay, yes. Offense
they,
was.
yes,
It was
they
the
defense was
defense.
stacked.
It was the
It was
defense that
stacked,
kept
and
everybody
it
in
won
the
a lot of games. It won a whole bunch of games. The offense was garbage, like super garbage, like super garbage. You know
We
what I'm
had
saying?
a great defense
So
that year, man.
yeah, so my thing is like, you know what I'm saying, the point you just made, like, yeah, I think 'cause first of all, if I was starting a franchise, I'm starting on the other side of the ball, so I'm starting defense first. That's what I'm starting. You want to stop people.
Yep.
Anybody can quarterback. Anybody can run the ball. You know what I'm saying? You can try to get some top notch people, but I'm starting defense first because I want to stop you. That's my whole goal. I want to stop you. That's just my opinion, though.
Adam, I agree. My whole philosophy would be the same. I'm gonna get my defense right because
Yep.
my whole point is if the defense can stop them, we don't have to score that many points. We don't have to work hard to get in the end zone.
Right.
And
Nope, you
teams
don't.
like Las Vegas, who's always ranked at the bottom of in the NFL in defense, you got to score a lot of
Yeah,
points just to stay in the game.
but over the last
So I'm
decade,
with you, Adam.
you got to do both. The one-sided thing hasn't helped anybody in over a decade. If you can't do both, be good on one and dominant on the other, you make it to the playoffs, and then that's the end of your road. I'm gonna go back to Larissa because I threw the question to Larissa, but Adam has been drinking, so he thought his name was Adam. Larissa, what do you think about the Titans? And Adam said, "You know what I think." You know what, Larissa, let's start you on this one just so we don't run out of time because there's two teams left in a hot mess. As much as it pains me, hey, I'm an equal opportunity hot messer, and the fourth team is the damn Miami Dolphins. That's the
It
fourth.
takes a big man. It takes a big man to admit that.
Yeah.
No, it's just the truth. You had a six-game
I actually like Miami.
winning streak. Then your quarterback gets hurt. You get 3 losses, which is okay. Then you had a rough road trip. They found the play on Twitter where he got his concussion. For those who are saying, "Oh, they're just using an excuse." Nah, you can go watch the tackle. He fell backwards and slammed his head. And the reason why they think it's that play is because nothing happened after that play. It was a bunch of 3-and-outs and bad passes after that play. So now he might have the Troy Aikman thing where every time you tap his head, he's susceptible to concussion. So it's a mess. They just gave a whole shitload of money to Bradley Chubb. They gave a whole shitload of money to Tyreek Hill. A whole lot of money to Xavier Howard. Woo! I don't know if they can give Tua money.
Teddy Two Gloves.
What do you say, Larissa?
I don't know. I get him healthy first. I think you all need to get him healthy because he keep on getting these head injuries. He gonna be done.
Mm-hmm.
Like
He's
literally,
done.
you gotta get him healthy enough to where he
Wait a minute.
back to back. That's just too much for him.
What's wrong with me? Why the hell am I asking a Carolina Panther about a quarterback situation?
Oh, wow.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest because me personally, when he hit his
Really?
y'all should have took him out.
Man.
So, I know my team is trash. Don't get me wrong on that. So our players, we just working with what we have. So, but you need quarterback together though,
the Panthers
because he can't keep getting hit in the head like that.
Don't worry, the Panthers are not in the hot mess. They are not in the hot mess.
They are not. They aren't.
They are not the 6th team in the hot mess. So far, with the 5 teams we got up, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Titans, and the Dolphins, you don't have to add anybody else. Is anybody unjustifiably in the hot mess category out of those 4 teams?
I mean, I wish we would have put Denver up there, but
Didn't I just say, you know what, never mind, let's just do the reveal.
That's what I was going to say.
Last team.
we got to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I know, but I said before, that was the reveal. I'm trying to tell you how programming works. You got to do the tease. I said never mind. Anyway, last team in the hot mess. You better be glad you bigger than me. Last team in the hot. Oh no, you ain't played the NFL. The muscles might not be activated anymore. them fast twitch muscles might be slow twitch now. So I might.
Oh man.
But the 6th team in the hot mess category is the Denver Broncos. Woo!
Oh man, what are you?
That's a whole mess. That's a whole mess.
I was about to say that thing a whole mess, bro.
Yeah, that's a whole mess.
Not even a hot mess, a whole mess.
Hey, Adam, Shannon Sharp said they said let Russ cook. Well, they let him cook, and he burnt the turkey.
Man,
you know when he got traded there, I didn't think that was a good look then.
It was not a good trade, man.
I didn't think that was a good look when he got traded, man.
That's
For
not.
real.
Well, see, this is why a lot of people didn't think it wasn't a bad look. That team with a half decent quarterback was playoff almost bound. They had the number like no top five defense. They had Jerry Judy. They had skill position players. They had
Yeah.
a good offensive line. And so when you get a Hall of Fame quarterback because he won a Super Bowl and the Legion of Boom kept him alive for many, many seasons, and he goes to that team, you think insert Hall of Fame quarterback here, we're going to get what we got with Peyton Manning. And that didn't happen.
Man, I,
You think Russell Wilson gonna make the Hall?
I'm not the one saying that. It's all the people on TV that kept saying
Okay. 'Cause
I'm about to say, I
I
don't know.
he's,
yeah,
he's
I don't.
We've had this conversation before.
Mm-mm.
gonna
I
make
think
he's gonna make the
At
Hall
some point,
because he says the right things to reporters and sports fans who love narratives.
He'll make the Hall. He'll make the Hall in about 15 years.
and
No, he won't.
Sierra fucked
No,
the
you're
bill. She fucked
forgetting
the bill
you're
for him.
forgetting one thing about the Hall. It's not fans voting. It's not players voting. It's a lot of sports writers and analysts. And if you say the right thing,
mm,
T.O., why didn't
Okay.
T.O. get in the Hall of Fame? Because all these analysts and sports writers saying he's a terrible teammate. When did you ever hear a T.O. teammate saying he was a terrible teammate?
That's my quarterback.
That's my
That's
point.
my quarterback.
That's my point. Bruh.
But your narratives will keep you out. Russell says all the good things he has that he's supposed to say. We said before the show came on. It's just like when they were going to London, and he was like, "Yeah, everybody was asleep, and I was in the aisle and I was doing my leg ups, just getting ready, get prepared." It's like, why would you say that? Why would you tell them everybody else is asleep as if everybody's being lazy and you working hard because you Russell Wilson? He's just annoying.
I feel like, man, a lot of part of the reason they're not winning is, man, Russ. This is my opinion. Russ does too much with the football.
Yeah.
He holds the ball. A lot of the sacks that he has taken could have been avoided had he just gotten rid of the football. There have been times where I'm watching and I'm like, bro, you got a wide open guy right here. What are
But
you doing?
he's always been that problem solver. Like he's always like figured out a way, like out of the pocket. That's where he's best, out of the pocket,
Yeah.
throwing on the run and stuff like that. So that's
So
why
then,
I remember him. Yeah, but
so
he's
then
not
as a
good.
quarterback, as a coach, if you know that's where he's best at, then call plays that puts him on the run. That
Right.
gives him that option that I can run it,
Well,
or I can throw it, or I can run it.
well, they
But
tried
You know, I think Russell Wilson's
that too.
football IQ is not as an NFL quarterback. It's not where it should be at because, like, just like when he threw the interception when they played the Patriots, you have control of the game. You could have called an audible. Beast mode took y'all all the way down the field. He had to get what 2 or 3 yards.
dumbest thing
Wait,
ever.
why would he call an audible? He's trying to get the MVP.
No, my thing is you want to win a Super Bowl. So my thing, why you ain't call no audible?
First of all, as
You
a
got control of that
competitor,
team. That's your offense. Yes.
and as a leader, you're like, bro, we on the 1 yard line, my
Yes.
dude. The one
Yes.
yard line. Why are we throwing the ball?
A slant.
Oh,
You
A
threw a
awesome.
slant.
slant.
Because,
Yes.
because
Why are we doing that when, like you said, we got beast mode? Man, he's gonna take one or two on
Yep.
winning.
Yep.
I'm Russell Wilson and I want to win this MVP, not Beast Mode. If
Mhm.
Beast Mode ran that in, Beast Mode was going to be the Super Bowl MVP.
As he should.
Probably
But my
should.
thing is, when the offensive coordinator called that play, I would have looked at my little wristband like, man, he crazy as. I ain't gonna run this. I'm not gonna throw this ball.
Big
I'm
trip.
gonna run a half back dive. That's what I'm doing. A half back dive.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I'm in the huddle like, man, what a name them talking about throwing this ball.
Yep.
Nah, figured out what he talking about. I'm trying to get this ring. I'm trying
Yep.
to go to Disney World.
Oh,
You know,
people
little
will
Future
call,
been wanting to go to Disney World. We're gonna take him to Disney World on the NFL. Forget what he
people
talking
will
about. Hey, Marshawn, go ahead and go and get this
Yep.
ring.
Go do your thing. Go do your
Go
thing.
ahead and get this ring for me.
people will call you a hater for saying this, but it's so many Patriots Super Bowl by other people doing stupid shit. I always reference at least. First of all, I always say this: if Dick Vermeil coached the Rams again, I think they would have won. That's just a personal opinion, but that could be wrong. But then you have the other ones. When they played Carolina Panthers, Carolina came rolling back in the second half. I watched that game with you, Adam. We watched it. That game, the Patriots and the Panthers in the
The
Super Bowl.
Panthers. Yeah.
They could not stop the Panthers in the second half to save their life.
No, they could.
In the overtime, what does the kicker do? Kick the damn ball out of bounds. There you
he
go.
wanted to get cut.
Then
That's what
You know what, man? The fact that you say that, I tell a lot of people this right here. I say the most stressful position in football to me is a kicker.
yeah,
It's not the quarterback, it's not the running back, it's the kicker. Because my thing is, you down by two, and you want 45-yard field goal. It's been college kickers that got death threats because they missed field goals.
the reason why the kicker is such a because you don't get as many opportunities as everybody else. Your opportunities is a small window. Then you got the Patriots against the Falcons. A mathematician
Why you
said,
got to bring that up though?
because I'm talking about the three Super Bowls. I'm sorry you were in it. The mathematician said if Atlanta had ran the ball three straight times and punted on every single play series in the second half, they mathematically still would have won the game. So how do you screw that up? That's my
What? First of all, what mathematician did you know? Is he qualified? Is he got the credentials? Like what
no.
mathematician you talking about right now?
The time. If you run the ball three times, he said if they ran the ball three times and ran the clock down and punted, they mathematically still would have won the game.
Oh Jesus Christ! Now we doing football and algebra. That's what we doing right now.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. Then you
I
have
get what you're saying, Keoni. I get what
then
you're
you
saying.
have
With them being up 28, what is it, 28-3?
28-3.
With them being up that deficit or that amount, if you just run the clock out, run the ball three times on your fourth down, you
Yeah,
punch the ball with like a second left.
yeah.
I
Which
get it.
no one's gonna do, and we're not saying to do that. It's just funny that if they did that, they would have still won. So it's like, how do you screw that up?
My thing is like you going up against the GOAT,
No,
and you try to tell me that if we would have punted the
I don't
ball,
know, man.
no,
I
you
would
missed.
say I'm a huge Tom Brady fan, but there have been a
The
lot of
game
plays
was.
that it's like,
You
man, there was some luck
you
in,
missing
in
the
involved
you're missing the
in
point of
where
that.
you
yeah,
are. Like
yeah.
that
Uh,
catch that Julian Edelman made,
Yeah.
that ain't either he living right or something.
Hey,
He's either living right or something, or he's I don't know. I don't
every
know. I ain't
Right.
trying to say somebody paying him off. There's some funny stuff going on.
every great athlete says you've got to be great, but you also have to be a little lucky. But the point of that wasn't to say the Falcons should have ran the ball three times. No one's ever going to do that. It's just funny as a stat. Like that means you're not supposed to lose that game. So, and then you have the Seattle one that we're talking about, the dumb play at the end of the game. So that's in sports. Sometimes a lot of legends are made of a lot of dumb shit.
Man,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
You're right.
that whole offensive coordinating staff should have. That whole offensive staff should
Yep.
have been fired after that.
Let me go.
If
That's
I'm
just
the
like
owner, they all got to go.
Exactly.
They
that's
all.
just like remember
Yeah.
Dante Hall for Kansas City Chiefs.
uh,
He had an interview and he explained to them their blocking techniques as he was returning kick returns and punt returns. And every NFL team adjusted. So I get what you're saying. People do stupid stuff. He said that it's a funnel and this and that. So all the special team coordinators were like, "Oh, that's how y'all do it. Okay, then you're not going to put us on ESPN. Then we got it.
think
We
about
got it."
think about Tampa Bay when John Gruden played the Raiders and the Raiders didn't change their plays. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was stupid.
Let's get into our last segment where we're going to talk about the NFL standings and how that's going to affect out. That's called the weekend review. Here are the standings from the last time we had our show. We'll discuss really quick and make some adjustments. Uh, the AFC East is a damn dumpster fire. If you can't see the standings, we have Buffalo at the top, Miami is number two, the Jets is number three, and the Patriots is number four. I think the only change I would make is the Patriots are going to end up the third best in that conference, and the Jets are going to be last. Anybody see anything different?
Nah, I'm with you on that
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
one.
Then we got the North. Hey, I thought
Yeah.
Baltimore was going to be dead after Lamar Jackson got hurt, but they keep winning. But I still have it Bengals, Baltimore, the Browns. I'd probably switch the Browns and the Steelers. What do y'all think about that?
Oh,
Hmm.
Oh, that's a hard.
I'll stay. I'll keep the Browns in third.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
I
keep the
agree.
Browns.
You don't think the Steelers are gonna?
they got too much going on with their quarterback stuff. In my opinion,
Yeah.
they just got too much
All right.
going on.
Then in the
Yeah,
South.
they-
Oh, go ahead, Laricia. I think in the South.
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Okay, I think in the South the Jaguars are going to overtake the Titans. I had the Titans at one because I just like the Titans have been dominating that terrible division for a long, long time. So I've got right now it says Titans, but I have that changing to Jags, then Titans, then Colts, then Texans. What do you say?
I'm gonna second that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
Mm.
Then in the West, I think the West doesn't change either. It's KC, the Chargers, Vegas, and you got to be pretty bad to finish behind Vegas, but the Broncos are still going to finish. Like I don't think that's going to change. Let's jump over to the NFC where we got the East. I think it's going to be Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants. Should that flip? Because I think the top two weren't changing,
Shoot,
right?
they all might still get in. There's a possibility for that whole conference to get in. That whole division.
Yeah,
Well, they
yeah.
might
Yeah.
get in, but
Oh, in the wild card.
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
think anybody should be flipped? This isn't the playoff
Yeah.
standings; it's just the standard. Do you think anybody should be flipped in that order?
No, Giants stay three.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I concur.
They might take themselves out of it. Hey, and then a lot of these divisions are just a mess this season. You got the Vikings at the top, and then who cares? Detroit and Green Bay is interchangeable, and then Chicago's down there at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, then we got the NFC South where we have all the helmets just jumbled together.
Oh man, what a dump!
you know. Hey, Steve. Hey, Stevens. All of them be number 5.
Yes. Look, when you go back and rewatch this, when you would go back and rewatch this, Adam, all the helmets are muddled together on the graph.
Okay, all right. Gotcha.
Tom Brady's so lucky. Even when his team stinks, the division still can't.
It's garbage, man. The NFC South is hot garbage, man. I'm telling you, it's bad.
Which it wasn't like that.
It wasn't
man,
like
like
that.
2 years ago, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it was. It was.
it wasn't like that
It
at
was.
all.
But it was competitive too a few years
was
ago.
very
Real competitive.
Very
Yeah, man. It was.
You know
It
what?
was.
I mean, I remember playing in Carolina, and it was like it was between us and Atlanta at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Between us and Atlanta, and then that one year it was between us and
In New Orleans. Yep.
So it's. Every year it seemed like every game, your divisional game was like. I mean, it is that way, but it was like it's literally like this is do or die.
Oh yeah. Yep.
This is do or die. Now it just I don't know, and I think because Tampa Bay plays the Carolina this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm a Tampa Bay fan, born and raised in Tampa. I think Carolina is going to actually beat Tampa Bay. Um,
Aren't y'all getting Vita Vea back this week?
I'm not sure.
I think so. But here's the thing. I said this even though the division, Tom Brady's team, think the division is so bad. People would love to point out how Tom Brady had an easy road because the AFC East was so terrible for so long. And I never come to Tom Brady's defense. I'm going to come to his defense on that because nobody complains that Joe Montana and the 49ers played in that terrible-ass West his entire career where it was the Arizona Cardinals, the Rams, and the Falcons. And all three of those teams were
Hey,
Lord have mercy.
NFC West, bro. That was a
all of
wild
those
West.
teams would win 3 to 5 games a year. And the 49ers would always have the number 1 or 2 seed every year.
Yeah.
It happened.
It's called dominance. That's what it's called. They can help everybody else. Sorry.
You know what? That's their problem. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's their
They
problem.
can't help everybody else sorry, man.
Divvied up your funds a little bit better. I don't
That,
know.
that was my
But hey,
point.
Steven, you a coach. You in a division. They win 2 games a year. You complaining? Everybody else in your division win 2 games a year.
Adams, I don't know what y'all are arguing. You just said what I said. That was my point.
No, I'm asking you. I'm
What?
asking you, man.
What? They win 2 games. I'm gonna complain about it.
Yeah,
Why the hell would I complain about it?
thank you.
I'm just talking about people who love to point out that someone gets to the playoffs every time because their division stinks. It happens.
It does.
You
It
know,
does.
nobody brings that up. That or the TB12, who is Terry Bradshaw, the original TB12. We ain't gonna get into it.
Oh,
Um,
mercy.
he said it on Family Feud. I didn't make it up. All right, so then we have the NFC West where the Niners by default will win because Geno Smith is back. His Cinderella glass slippers have broke, and his regular sneakers are back on. He was gonna get some Adidas, but Kanye ruined that. So we got, we got the Seahawks, and then we got the Rams, and then the Cardinals are so bad they're gonna finish behind the rest. I don't know. Y'all tell me that division.
The Rams are, in my opinion, they're just a disappointment.
They weren't who we thought they were.
They were.
Playoffs.
But I will say this in the Rams' defense, man. It is, and I said this to Keoni earlier in the week. It is very hard to win and to even get something going when you've had 14 offensive line rotations. It's difficult to win with that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they got to mesh. At some point, they got to
At
mesh.
some point, there's got to be some kind of. You got to have a staple, man, that we can
Yeah.
mesh, we can gel. I told Keon, if I was Matt Stafford,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play hurt for the rest of the year and just collect my cash.
People,
No, that's right.
the average, y'all are saying that, but the average sports fan sleeps on the O line and D line. They sleep on the lineman. That's not the sexy thing to talk about. It's just like I told when we were going to watch the Super Bowl last year, and we got to the sports bar, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, "Oh, the Chiefs are going to lose." Not last year, the year before. I said, "Chiefs are going to lose." I said, "Why do you say that?" Half their offensive line is out. They say, "Yeah, well, get the sports thing. Next man up." I said, "Okay, you next man up against Dominican Sue and Vita Vale and tell me how that works out."
Yeah.
You, hey, we got a semifinal tomorrow between Georgia and Ohio State. Let half of Ohio State line be out. You take my next man up against the Bulldogs.
Boy, gonna put about 120 points.
Yeah, it's gonna be ugly.
I was thinking 130, but hey, who counting?
Hey, well, you know, hey, it's a Georgia team. As long as they ain't got a big lead, they'll win.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
yeah. Turn it.
Hey,